We all know the importance of record keeping in poultry farming. If you're not tracking the cost of feed, mortality rate, and net income, then you're setting yourself up for a massive failure. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use our free Excel template to manage your broiler poultry farm. We'll show you how to track costs, daily sales, total and net income from sales of your birds. The data you're about to see is our live financials from our very first batch. This is real live data from our very first batch of 1,000 birds. Please support our channel by hitting the subscribe button, and don't forget to smash that notification bell so that whenever we upload a new video, you'll be the first to know. See you on the other side. Welcome back. My name is Kevin. I'm a software engineer based in the United States and extremely passionate about farming and poultry farming, to be specific. If you don't already have a software for managing your farm, I will encourage you and your workers to use this particular free template that we prepared for you. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you how to download this particular free template. This template will give you all the insights you need to run and expand your broiler poultry farm. I get a report every single week from my general manager. This report actually helps me to prepare for our weekly team meeting. Once you enter the daily feed consumed and mortality, this particular Excel template will help you calculate the following. It will help you calculate the current feed per bird, the total feed consumed by bird for a particular period, the total feed consumed by the entire flock, the daily cost of feed consumed as well, the total cost of feed consumed by flock for a particular period. It will also automatically calculate the feed conversion rate, what is known as FCR. It will help you calculate the total income from the sales of your bird. And finally, it will help you compute the net profit by batch. That's a lot for a single video. So enough talking, let's get to it. So once you download our broiler management Excel template, we generally refer to as our OTAFARMS Broiler Management software, you will be greeted with the initialization page. The initialization page will actually help you capture the initial data. You want to capture the breed, our very first breed. Again, remember, this is our live data. This is our very first breed that we started at OTAFARMS. Our very first breed, we started with COP 500. The date of arrival, and that was in the 6th of September. This particular breed arrived at our farm on the 6th of September 2022. The number of chicks that we started with, we actually ordered 1,050. So we ordered an extra box of chicks, that because each box is 50, comes 50 inside. So we ordered an extra box, and then the company, because some of these chicks actually die on the way, or some would actually die even on the first day, and you see the mortality on the next page. As a result, the company actually included, for each box, the company added one extra chick. So for each particular box, they added one extra chick. So we had a total of 21 complimentary extra chicks from the company. The price per chick was actually 500 francs CFA, and that is approximately $1 for one chick. And the price has gone up tremendously as of right now. It's way higher than that. But at that time, we actually bought one at 500 francs CFA. And the age, you want to capture also the age, which is day old chicks, which you enter one for day old chicks. All right. Then after you capture all the information, you want to go ahead into the records page. The records page is where you capture the data. Right here, you want to go ahead and enter the change entries. Once you enter the date from the initialization page right here, what will happen is the date of arrival will be automatically calculated for you. So it's going to automatically calculate the date from starting from, you see right there, it says initialization B4. It's just an automatically calculated field, which is, if you realize, this is B column 4, 6, which is 6th September 2022, it will automatically just accumulate cumulatively add a day after for each of those records. So it will automatically calculate the days for you, and then it will also give you the total number of days, right? For broilers, it goes all the way to 90 days, but of course you don't want to keep your broilers for up to 90 days, but it just gives you, the template gives you the ability to calculate up to 90 days. It also gives you the opening batch, and the opening batch is retrieved from here. You don't have to enter that. It's retrieved from the total number of chicks plus the total number of complementary chicks that were added, that were given to you by the company that you purchased the chicks from, and that's what gave us 1,071 chicks. However, this is where you actually capture most of the data. The starter feed, right? The type of feed, we give starter feed from day 1 to day. We start at this particular juncture, we were doing 3 weeks brooding. So from day 1 to day 21, we actually administer the starter feed, and then from 21 to the sales of the birds, we administer the grower feed. You also want to capture the cost of feed per kilogram. Our starter feed, 1 kg of starter feed costs us 420. That's about 90 cents. So 1 kg of starter feed costs us about 420 francs CFA, which is approximately 90 cents. And again, this is very, very important. You want to capture the average weight, the average body weight per bird in grams. So once the chicks arrive, we had 45, but we don't calculate the weight every single day. We calculate it on the first day, as well as on the 30th day and the 40th day. So you want to capture the weight, and this is where you enter the weight. Once you capture all that, every single day you want to capture the current feed in kilograms. How many kilograms are you administering? You want to capture all of that. You measure everything, and then you administer. Again, you always want to measure. On the very first day, we administer 25 grams. And then, very important, this is the mortality column. You want to capture the mortality from the first day. Unfortunately for us, we had a large number of the birds died during transportation. We had 130 of them died. 130 died during transportation from day 1. That was a very big loss for us, and that is because, one, the supplier did not actually they didn't put the birds in a good condition during transportation. 2, they didn't even do selection. You have to select and remove the birds with the umbilical cord. You don't want to supply those to your to the farmers. You don't want to give those to your customers. You don't want to supply those to your customers. So you want to go ahead and separate the birds with umbilical cord. So we noticed that this particular customer went ahead and supplied us with all these birds, all these day-old chicks that they knew for a fact that it would never survive, and that's why we never even ordered from them. I mean, we actually did order from them the second time because we were actually desperate. They were the major suppliers in Cameroon, and guess what? We paid for the next batch. We paid for 2,000 because we were trying to increment. We paid for 2,000 day-old chicks, and it took them 3 months. And even after 3 months, they were not even able to supply us. We ended up just getting our money back, and we've never actually ordered from this particular supplier. Terrible supplier. We never ordered from them again. But once you capture all this data, the change entries, the daily entries, these are the entries that your workers, the employees, will be entering every single day. So every single day they will capture, and you will realize that from the moment the chicks arrive in the farm, you have dirt. It's inevitable. You cannot avoid this. This will always happen. But as time goes on, they will reduce. As the birds grow, the mortality rate actually stabilizes, and it not only stabilizes, it actually reduces tremendously to the point where you have 0 death recorded in your farm. Once you enter all this information, the rest gets automatically calculated for you. For example, you can see on the first day we had 941. Again, another set of data that is automatically calculated for you is the feed per bird in grams. So it actually gives you, this particular sheet will automatically calculate the feed, that amount of feed that you're feeding each particular bird per gram. from the time they arrive, they eat less, but as time goes on, it actually increases. As you can see, from 23 to 27 to 54. I mean, day 2 they are already at 27, and day 5, exactly, right here, day 5 they are at 54. Just a few days later, they are at 84 grams. And then 110 grams, and then 138 grams, and then 142, and then 166. So as time goes on, they just keep eating, because these birds, the broilers, eat like crazy. In addition to calculating the feed per bird in grams, the total, it will also give you the total feed per bird to date as well in grams. So it's a cumulative process that keeps adding the previous feed plus the current feed, and just keep adding and giving. It will give you the data for the total feed per bird to date in kilograms. In addition, you will also get the total feed in kilogram to date. So this one is pretty much just telling you how much each bird has consumed to date. So it gives you the particular amount of feed that each birds have consumed to this particular date. This report will also calculate the expenditure on daily feed, right? It will give you the total expenditure. Right here, from day 1, we actually spend a total of 10,500 for feed. So from day 1, it costs us about $20 for their feed, and as time goes on, that adds up. It adds up because as time goes on, they eat more. These birds, they will eat more. This report will give you also the total expenditure on feed to a particular point in time. So let's look at the 40th day. On the 40th day, we had already spent about 1.3 million, almost 1.4 million francs CFA on feed. 1.4 million francs CFA is about $2,800. That's approximately $2,800. That's how much we had spent on the 40th day on feed. And all of this data right here, you don't have to capture it. This is all data. These are reports that are given to you automatically. They are calculated for you automatically. You will also be able to get the feed conversion ratio. So you'll be able to tell you the feed conversion ratio for the broilers. So one thing you will notice is that for the COP 500, their feed conversion ratio from the 0 to 6 weeks is lower compared to the feed conversion ratio for the Ross 308. If it was Ross 308, their feed conversion ratio will be a lot higher than what you're seeing right here, because Ross 308 tends to grow fast from 0 to 6 weeks. After that, their growth rate slows down. However, COP 500 their feed conversion rate is relatively lower. It's not low. They are relatively lower from 0 to 6 weeks, and then after 6 weeks, their feed conversion rate is extremely high. Now let's move into the sales entries. Now this is where you capture your sales, right? You want to go ahead and capture the sales. When did we start selling? We start selling at day 33. Day 33, we sold 21 birds. We sold 21 birds, each bird for $3,000. $3,000 is approximately $6. So we sold 21 on day 33 for $6,000, and that was a total of about $63,000. $63,000, that's about $126. So on day 33, we sold about $126. On day 42, we made another sale on day 42 as well. Day 42, we sold 128 at 3.5. That is 3.5. That's approximately $7. So on day 40, actually, sorry, not day 42. On day 40, we sold 128 birds at 3,500. That's about $440,000. 440,000 francs CFA, approximately $900 that we sold on day 40. And then 2 days later on day 40, 3 days later on day 43, we sold 70 at 3.5 for $245,000. And the final birds were sold. we had 9 left in our farm after day 55, and we sold all 9 at 35 for 31,500. So the sales entries, this is where you enter. So wherever you see entries, this is where you capture data. See where it says entries right here, and entries. This is where you capture data. The rest is automatically calculated. This is automatically calculated from the initialization page. This is automatically calculated from the entire data, and this is automatically calculated based on the sales entry for you. So once you enter the sales entry, it will calculate the income, it will generate the income report for you. So now let's look at the final report. What does the final report give us? The final report is extremely important. Our final report gives us, it starts with the livability percentage. The livability percentage is how many of your birds were able to survive from day old chicks to the point that they were sold. You always want to stay at 95% livability percentage, 95%. But because we had a lot of losses from transportation, we actually lost 130 of the birds. That's more than 12%. 11% died during transportation. If you're doing it commercially, you're going to have mortality rate, and you want to make sure that your mortality rate stays between 95% to 100%. The shaded area right here, this is the data that you captured in the final report. You want to capture this data, right? You want to capture the vaccine cost. The cost for vaccine for us was about $30,000. That's about $60. The electricity bill, we have a standby generator that we have to purchase diesel, and we capture all that cost. It costs us about $70,000 for this particular flock. We also capture the labor cost. The labor cost for all the employees, about $400,000 for labor. I think we have a total of about 6 employees in our broiler farm alone. And then we had other expenses. Some of these expenses include things like the food. We have the food for the security dogs. We have security dogs that we spend about 100,000 francs CFA. That's about $200 a month on their feed. So you want to capture all of that in your record order information to get your total expenditure. Once all that is captured for this particular batch, our total expenditure was $2.8 million. That is about $3,600. That was our total expenditure for the first 1,050 batch, or let's just say 1,071, even though a lot of those died during transportation, as I said earlier. So what was the total income? The total income, and again, you always want to, before I get to our total income, you want to know how much you're selling, right? Remember, in our record, we measure the weight on the 33rd day, which was 1,500. Which was 1,500 grams. That's correct. That's about 1.5 kilograms. That's about 1.5 kilograms, and that's when we started selling our bird, and then we took the weight. And then on the 40th day, all the birds were at 2 kg, and since we only sell this batch, we're selling wholesale to all those middlemen that they buy, and then they go supply hotels, they go supply restaurants. We only sell 3,500 at that particular price. So this was our very first batch. And there were a lot of mistakes, which I'm going to discuss that in a separate video, all the mistakes that we did from the beginning and what we've done to be able to correct some of those mistakes. So this is all on day 40, we had 2 kgs. Our birds were 2 kgs on day 40. You want to capture all that, and then right here you want to define the price per kg. Our farm, we sell 1 kg at 1,750. This is for live birds that have not been processed. For processed birds, we sell 1 kg at 2,000 francs CFA. So processed 2,000 francs CFA That's 2,000 francs is approximately $4 for per kg, and for the live ones we sell 1,750 per kg, which means most of those birds we sell each at 3,500, approximately $7. So you want to capture your price per kg over here. Once you capture your price per kg, you'll be able to know the total income from selling your bird. Once everything was sold, the total income from the sales of our bird was 3.1 million, pretty much approximately 3.1 million. That is gross profit before, that's the earnings before. EBITDA actually stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, because even though you've captured all the total expenditure, that does not mean that is all your total expenditure. It doesn't mean that this is all your total expenditure. If you have, say for example, you have interest, you took a bank loan to be able to get this particular batch, you have to make sure that you capture the interest on that. In our own case, we didn't take any loan. The interest that you pay for that particular loan, you have to capture. You have to deduct that from the gross profit. The taxes, if you are paying taxes, you have to deduct that. We pay taxes. Depreciation, you have to deduct the depreciation. An accountant can help you with depreciation and amortization. An accountant will help you with EBITDA. But again, this is something that is, you don't want, if you are not much familiar with it, get an accountant to help you. If you're running a commercial poultry farm, please, you want to have an accountant to help you. Make sure that all these figures, because you might be sitting there thinking that you are running a profitable business when you are not running a profitable business. Pay attention to all of this. So this is our gross profit before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It was 3.1 million. And then after deducting everything, including taxes, depreciation, and the expenditure, our profit from our very first batch was almost 300,000. That's 297,500. That's about almost $600. Approximately $600 was our very first interest. But this particular batch, again, as I said, we made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes were done. This was our very first batch, but this is the beauty. This is the absolute beauty about poultry farming. Even after all those mistakes, we still walk away with profit. We still walk away with 300,000 profits, 300,000 francs CFA profit after a month and a half, 6 weeks. We sold everything in 6 weeks, and we still walk away with $600 profit. Was it much? No. I mean, especially compared to where we are trying to get to, or where we are currently, that was not much compared to what we're making right now. But again, with all the mistakes, this is the beauty. This is why I encourage people to go into poultry farming, because poultry farming is extremely lucrative. This is the only business, this is the only venture that you can actually get into, and the very first month you are literally making profit. The very first month you are making profit. As you can see for yourself, on the very first month we were making profit. Now the next part is the remarks. You want to capture the remarks for each particular batch. What was our first remarks? Our potential profit reduced by 140,000 because we spent 136,000 extra on feed and recorded one dead bird. We need to try and sell fast to maximize our profit. So this was the mistake. We want to make sure that we sell fast as possible. And this is the lesson learned. This is the lesson learned from the very first batch, right? The very first batch, it took us more than 6 weeks to sell. It took us a total of what? Took us a total of 55 days. 55 days. We want to sell everything by day 42. We get rid of everything. So it took us a longer period of time to actually sell all the birds, and that was not good. The second remark from this particular batch was that other expenses include 97,000 for dog food. Again, as I said before, the dog food actually cost us, other expenses were 100,000. 97,000 of that 100,000 was spent on dog food, and 3,000 for the cost of transportation and Momo withdrawal. Momo stands for mobile money, but it's mobile finance in Cameroon. You have two. We have Momo and we have Orange Money. So the cost of withdrawal, to withdraw some of those funds, because some customers were paying using this particular Momo transaction, and the cost to withdraw some of those funds to the bank and deposit into the business bank account, it costs 3,000. That is what we capture under other expenses. So remember, we said that 130 birds died during transportation. So if these birds did not die during transportation, we would have been able to maintain our livability ratio of 95% and above, which means that if you factor out the 130 birds, our livability ratio was 96%. But of course, I can never do that. We'll always have to make sure that we capture the right one, so that we can actually know understand what went wrong and then learn from that. So this concludes this particular video series about our broiler management software. That was a lot of information, I understand. If you've learned anything so far, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell, so that whenever we upload the next set of videos, you'll be the first to know and you'll be the first to watch. Again, for you to be able to access the free Excel template that I just showed you, go ahead and click on the link in the description, or just type the link below on your browser. Enter the link below on your browser. It will take you to our downloads page. It's OTAFARMS Academy download page, where you can not only download this particular template, you'll be able to download other resources that can actually help you with your own business. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.